All right, guys, welcome to the weekly live stream with Investor Syndicate. Now, today we're going to do things a little bit differently, just really leading from the heart and talking about some conversations that we've had inside of our network over the past few days. Now, the title for this message is Proximity is Power. And if you can grasp your mind around this simple concept and you really lean in, it can change the trajectory of your life and your business forever. Prove me wrong. When we're looking at some of the most successful people, entrepreneurs, leadership giants, and titans of this generation, the one consistent thing that most of these that spearhead massive movements is they're great networkers, right? Sure. And understanding that the power and proximity of those inside of your network can propel you to heights that you never thought possible, right? So with that, let's open it up. Bobo, we ready for the heat, dude?
Drum roll.
Yeah, man. You're just getting back from InvestFest, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Bro, let's hear about that. I'd love just to dive in and hear some of your key takeaways from the weekend.
Well, InvestFest is it was an event sponsored by Earn Your Leisure. So if you guys don't know who Earn Your Leisure is two brothers from the Bronx who started a podcast about 4 years ago. And literally it is one of the top financial literacy podcasts out there. So I've been listening to that for a while. And last weekend they had an event in Atlanta, and last year they had the event. It was about 4,000 people. So this year it was 12,000 people.
Boom. That's incredible.
But yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Heck
and yeah, it was all love, man. It was a bunch of people there. And I guess if I could name drop, we had Tyler Perry, we had Rick Ross, we had Steve Harvey, we had Pinky from Slutty Vegan, Wall Street Trapper, 19 Keys. Of course, you had Rashad and Troy. You had Ian, the Master Investor, just to name a few. And bro, it was just an incredible event. Incredible event, and to be around that many like-minded people, because everybody paid to be there. So to see 12,000 people who would pay to be a part of something, and it was all about financial literacy. You know what I'm saying? Because you got people who will pay to go to a concert, but not necessarily go to like something that's talking about finances or real estate or your credit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just really, really amazing to see that, man. Yeah.
That's huge, bro. That's huge. To your point, we live in this generation that's just it's moved by entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we as human beings, our psychologies, we want to be entertained, right? But we find the entertainment as an outlet, as a distraction that pulls us away sometimes from reality, right? Which is fine. We all need that escape. We absolutely need it, right? But why do more people not invest in self-development? Why do more people not attend conferences, seminars, join mastermind groups, right? Where you're challenged to think bigger, to stretch yourself beyond where you've been into new areas and new heights. Why?
I think people are distracted, bro. I mean, it's kind of like what we offer here, at the Investor Syndicate. I mean, we've literally built out a whole mastermind to show you how to wholesale, to show you how to do land acquisitions, to show you how to, buy crypto and all of this stuff. We got a master class for everything. And I think people are distracted, with the media, or they're just stuck in the rat race, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I really, to be honest with you, I didn't start reading books like that until after I got saved. And that was around like 23 years old. So up until that point, I didn't do much reading or, thinking about my credit and stuff like that. You just be distracted. And it's just like one day I came to this awakening, man. And, I feel like wisdom is hidden in books, and most people don't read. And like you said, most people don't take the time for personal development.
That's right. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think maybe it's too many options. Somebody would rather veg out and watch back-to-back episodes of Netflix instead of learning how to get tax breaks, on your house, or learning how to get your credit right, or learning a new trade. I seen a post this morning, and I think I shared it on Facebook, but it was basically saying we would rather spend 2 hours or 3 hours watching, our favorite episode on Netflix instead of learning a new skill in 2 hours, because that's about how long it takes. You can just, I like YouTube University. I mean, just like real estate, man, everything that I've learned was probably 80-90% from YouTube, and I just started executing, man.
Yeah.
The
world is changing.
Yeah.
Technology is breaking down barriers that once were in place, right? Like there used to be a much higher barrier to entry across just about any industry. And now that at your fingertips, right behind this device that you carry in your pocket every single day, you have access to any and all information that you could ever need or implement.
I was going to say,
we have that and we don't learn new skills, right? To your point, there's too many options, too many distractions that we just go down these wormholes chasing social media likes, right? And hunting for affirmations of
that dopamine hit.
Yeah, that straight hit of dopamine. It's crazy, man.
And I was going to say also, I think sometimes we get bombarded with too much information.
Absolutely.
And you can get overwhelmed. Like I said, I know a lot of people who know about real estate. They know about getting your credit right, and they know about all of that stuff. But you can also study so much and learn so much and be bombarded with all this information that you'll get something that's called analysis paralysis. Meaning you learn all of this stuff, but you don't actually do anything.
We've all been there, right? I feel like that's one of the traps of entrepreneurship. And in a sense, it's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is you're always seeking new ways at getting better, new ways at implementing new strategies, right? And thinking outside the box on how you can implement strategic marketing messages, right? But on the same side of that coin, you're chasing so many rabbits that you accomplish absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So I know how you are. I feel like we're kind of similar in the aspect of it's like being a visionary. So when you're a visionary, you like have all of these ideas and your mind is like all over the place. And it's almost like trying to bring some organization to the chaos. So I always know when I'm talking to you, I know that you're always like thinking in the future, you're this visionary. Like, how do you personally keep things in order? Because if we're not organized, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for me, I won't get nothing done if I'm not organized.
I'll be honest, bro. You know me, and you know that I'm not the most organized person, and that too is a blessing and a curse. Yeah. But the best answer that I have for it is I find talent.
Yeah.
Right. I find people that are better in certain areas than I am myself.
Yeah.
Right. So when I'm going through, the bullet points or the Rolodex of different tasks and different goals that I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
First thing that I want to do is I want to make a line straight down the paper and figure out on this side, what are the things that I love doing, that I enjoy doing, that give me energy, that make me feel alive.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I want to write down all these tasks and daily chores that I actually hate and they make me feel like I'm dying inside. Right. So the goal is to take those ones, the ones that make you feel like you're dying inside. And I want to hand those off. I want to find somebody that actually enjoys doing the things that I don't. And I want to put them in the seat so they can take them off of my plate. Right.
Delegate it.
That is life-changing.
Yeah.
That is life-changing. And when it's never going to be the right time and it's never going to feel comfortable to transition out of that driver's seat and actually take that file and hand it over to somebody else. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be scary making the leap. Can I float the payroll?
Yeah.
Am I going to micromanage once it's already in their hands? Like, there's just a lot of moving factors with it.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're able to let go of that control, man, it'll change everything.
I was going to say it's hard to scale without doing that. I mean, I know you have people who be like, man, I'm a self-made millionaire. Like, you can say that, but it really takes a team.
It absolutely does.
That's one of the constant themes of this weekend. It was talking about get a system, get a process, get a team, find your team, find your people, because you just can't do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but how far can you get? And just for an example, in real estate, I started out wholesaling and you started out wholesaling, but imagine if right now the level that you're on, if you still had to make the calls, do the marketing, do the acquisition, do the transaction stuff, go out and meet people. Like, you got to do all of this stuff on the front end and the back end. How much can one person really get done? And then when you want to scale, if you don't have a system and a process, how are you going to do that? I talked to one of our well, we didn't do a deal with him, but we got a relationship. But I talked to a guy from Greenville. He had a limo company. He has a limo company here in Greenville. And, from what he was telling me, it was really, really successful. But he is still sitting in all of the seats. And he is very, very busy. He's still driving. He's still doing the marketing, and I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you can't even have a life if you don't have a system and a process, and you can't take this system and delegate it to somebody else. It's crazy, man.
And I think that's a gap, right? That's one of the big gaps that we have, especially newer investors getting in the industry. It's how do you develop a system? Right? Because not everybody is a visionary. Not everyone is an implementer or an integrator, right? To actually take a completely blank canvas and piece together a system piece by piece, dude, that's one of the hardest things that you can do. You almost have to, you fall into it, right? But the only way that you can learn the road that you're going to travel down is by teaming up, right? Whether it be a mentorship, networking opportunity, mastermind, where someone's actually willing to open up the blueprint, share the roadmap with you to show you, hey, you don't have to continue doing it the hard way, right? There's a better way. There's a simpler way. Take me by the hand and let's ride.
Yeah.
Right. But
is that kind of what happened with you, B?
Yeah.
Did you have like a mentor?
So, I would say I've had many, many, many mentors.
Yeah.
And I'll say that, I mean, obviously some people leave a larger impact on your life than others, right? But I look at every relationship as some type of an exchange, right? It's an exchange of value, exchange in the marketplace, even interaction with children, right? They're teaching you something about yourself, and children are some of the best salespeople. But as far as mentors that have changed my life, dude, like, yeah, dude, there's I can probably name 3 really, really strong mentors. And it wasn't until I gave up on trying to do everything myself, right? And I surrounded myself and immersed myself in a community. What did it take? I had to pay, right? You got to pay to play, right? Because if you don't have any skin in the game, it's just, you're not going to take it serious. And, it's the craziest thing, bro.
I was going to say, so on a scale from 1 to, let's say a scale from 1 to 5, on a scale from 1 to 5, how important is it to have a mentor? And then the second part of that is, you said, you've had a bunch of mentors. So for somebody who might be on this live with us, was that a mentor like at a distance, meaning you read their book, you bought their course, or is it a mentor like that was in your city and you actually met with this person and they, gave you some game?
So that's a stacked question right there. So I like it. So I would say every piece of that puzzle is yes, yes, yes. Every piece of that is super important, right? Like a training course that I bought by Sean Terry showed me how to put up processes, how to market to motivated sellers, how to master my close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having a mentor, boots on the ground, actually got me out in the field where we could walk through different properties, looking at construction scopes, seeing the way that they present offers, right? And then to your point, books. The books you read, you're taking years and years and years of life lessons that are jam-packed into the pages and the chapters inside of these books.
Yes,
right?
brother. Yeah.
So even if you only pull out one nugget, right? One nugget of information that you can apply, a principle that can change the position of your life.
Yeah.
You pull out one nugget from every book that you read and you compound that growth and that interest over 1 year, 2 year, 5 years time. Think about where you're going to be 5 years from now. Right. But we don't think about that because we want we want a microwave success.
Don't work.
It doesn't work.
Not gonna happen.
This TV microwave generation, bro, like we expect immediate results by putting in the minimal amount of work. It's backwards. The entire equation is backwards. And I feel like the system has designed it, right, to keep us enslaved to the very system.
The rat race.
The rat race.
Yeah.
The 9 to 5, bro. It's the 9 to 5 dream that we're sold.
Bro, I just had a conversation with my wife a couple minutes ago. She's been working this job for probably 4 or 5 years. It's been a while. She's been working this job. It don't pay much. But what happens is you get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And you're exchanging your time for money.
Yep.
And you get comfortable and you get scared to step out into some more opportunities. But and this was a theme through the conference too, bro. Every speaker up there, from like I said, the Tyler Perry to the Steve Harvey to the DJ Envy, they all talked about their relationship with God.
Yes.
But if you stay in your comfort zone and you're afraid to step out and God opens that door, I mean, you can be missing so many opportunities. And just like the title of this talk is Proximity is Power. It's about those opportunities, but it's also about those relationships, bro. It's about those relationships because you just never know. I mean, just like me going to Starbucks or just like me going to this event and being around all of these people who think like me, who are entrepreneurs, in that room was all the resources that you need. You know what I'm saying? It's the relationship. So I'm in proximity with, maybe somebody I want to partner with on the music, or maybe somebody we can partner with on the real estate, or maybe our next buyer, or maybe somebody who's going to fund us and take us to the next level. But if you keep your mouth closed and you're not thinking about the proximity, it's missed opportunities, bro.
Yeah.
Almost
like if Jesus walked amongst us today, would you recognize him?
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, what if that big network, that big opportunity, that big relationship was standing in your midst?
Mm-hmm.
Would you recognize the power of that relationship?
Okay.
And if you did, would you know what to do with it?
Yep.
Just a random question to ask yourself, right? Would you be able to recognize the opportunity that could be harnessed inside of this simple relationship, right?
Yeah.
And what do you do with it? Do you view your relationships like that? Right? Every person should be a strategic relationship, a strategic angle that's helping you move forward with your personal growth to achieve the greatest version of yourself, but also to raise up the ships for everybody involved. And if people are not helping you to exceed that, right, to break through that ceiling, then why are they in your circle?
So that brings me something that Tyler Perry said. So Tyler Perry just bought like 300 something acres Very, very inspiring dude. But he was talking about when God is taking you to the next level. And the way that he explained it was, when he moved to Atlanta, he bought a studio, very small studio. And before he could fully move in, he outgrowed it. You know what I mean? And then he bought another one, a little bit bigger. And before he could fully move into that one, he outgrowed it again. So now he's purchasing this property. Like I said, it's like 300 something acres. You actually can probably fit the studio that's in Hollywood inside of what he's building. But this is what he said, B. He said, when God is elevating you, it's like you're spinning up. You're spinning upward at a very, very fast pace. And he said, as you're spinning upward, people will start to fall off and fall out of your circle. And he was like, because they're not meant to go to the next level with you. And he said, it's very, very hard to let those people go, but they cannot go to the next level with you. He like, that happens on purpose. And when we try to hold on to those relationships, that's when we get in trouble.
Bro, that's fire. That's like prophetic. I feel like that's the season we're in right now, bro. A great refining, man. It's a refining process. With the market shifting, dude. And I know everybody feels it, right? It's a contracting, a restriction inside of the market, less cash flow. Most business owners feel it. Mm-hmm. There's more tension than normal. And people are just bracing for impact because we don't know how bad the economy gets. How far down does this recession really go? Right. But man, it's for us, it hit us pretty good. Full transparency, we got whacked, right? Like we were relying so heavily on these big institutional buyers because they were paying so much money for these real estate deals. They're still in the game, right? But they've just got a little more conservative on the offers in this season, right? It's not forever. It's just in this season. Yeah. But this overnight, we had to pivot and switch up the entire strategy. And we're still having to pivot, right? And figure it out. It's like putting our traditional real estate investing hat on, right? And going back to the basics. But man, in that process, man, the refining process, there's been a couple people that have been with me for 2-3 years, even longer.
Oh, yeah. Didn't make it.
They gone.
They gone.
Yeah. I mean, in its simplest form, we no need to get into details with it, but to your point, man, like it never fails, bro. Like when you hit the opposition always gets the heaviest right before the breakthrough. It never fails. Yep. Right. But you have to recognize it when it's in front of you, right? When you get hit, it's like, okay, brace for impact, but let's lean in, right? Instead of seeing the fear and running the other direction, we need to lean into the fear and embrace it because we know that on the other side of our fear lies a promise. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm starting to get used to it, but I mean, that is the model. I was reading this book called Principles. I think it's by Ray
Dalio.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's called Principles. In the very beginning of the book, he has this picture, and hope this helps somebody. But basically, at the bottom of the picture, it's like you having your big dreams, and then inside a circle, it's like the trouble, and then it's like scale. And he was like, that's how it is. You start with these big dreams, these big things you want to do in life. And then you go into the circle, which is the trouble. It's the adversity, it's the problems, it's the obstacles, all of that stuff that, it's the ceiling. And then after you bust through that, you scaling. But when you get to that next level, you got to go through that again. And going through that process, as you scale up and away, you're going to lose people.
That's right.
You're going to lose people. And I mean, you can either hold on to those people and stay on that same level, or you can go where the Lord wants to take you. He wants to take us to the next level, bro. And that's hard. Sometimes it's your family and your friends, and you know this. Sometimes it's the ones that's close to your heart. They just can't go to the next level, bro.
Preach it, bro. That's
I see
real.
got some comments up.
Yeah, Susan says the problem is in the world of real estate or finance, it's so huge with enormous number of opportunities. It's hard to stay focused on one thing. Holy cow. You hit the nail on the head, Susan. I mean, that's the truth. There's so many opportunities coming at us every single day, right? It's like, how do you be selective and pick out the right one, right? That's most fitting for you in the season. And I'm known for like drinking from a fire hose and trying to bring in as many opportunities as possible, and then figuring it out after, hey, let's bring the opportunities in and piece it together along the process, which sometimes it works great and sometimes it's foolish and I should probably take a step back and reflect. But the best answer, the thing that I've come to a realization, is to the motto of everything that we do inside of this ecosystem. Real estate is a team sport. Yep. Life is a team sport. Business is a team sport, right? So together we achieve more. And so the principle that we've been leaning in with in this season is how can we identify an expert around different asset classes, right? Because yes, single family housing has been our model, right? Positioning with the hedge funds for a cool minute now. But when that bottom fell out, right, and we had to pivot and readjust, it's like God was knocking on my heart, right? I think all of our hearts, right? He's been pushing us into bigger seasons, bigger opportunities that are everywhere around us, right? And it's almost like I heard this still small inner voice saying, you've been here long enough. It's time to start opening up the door into new opportunities.
Come on and preach it like you feel it.
New challenges, bro. Leaning into those challenges, the only way that we can take on numerous asset classes all at once is by bringing on strategic partnerships and people that can spearhead the vision and spearhead the point of contact, the lead funnel, if you will, inside of each and every one of these ecosystems, right? And that's, I think, the big goal that God's starting to roll out inside of our ecosystem, inside of this world, is to provide a space for investors and real estate folks to come together and know that we have a vast knowledge base across just about any asset class you can think of, right? Where we have key moderators, key points of contact that can help to carry us through the educational aspect, but also be able to identify an opportunity or a deal when it comes into the pipeline and then push that deal through and make sure that we have a feasible exit strategy, right? But the only way it's done is teamwork.
You hit it on the head, bro. You hit it on the head.
But yeah, shiny object syndrome and Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. I'm assuming you may have read that, Susan, because that's a really, really profound quote. But I mean, you're right. It's hard to stay focused. And the people that have discipline and can remain focused on that one thing. Well, you first got to identify what's that one thing, right? What's the most important thing that I need to focus on for this day? And I focus on it until it's completed, right? And then after that, all the tasks after it will either be not needed or much easier to accomplish because we've got that biggest roadblock out of the way, right? Yeah. But most of us, we're just so consumed by media, entertainment, distractions that we don't focus on that one thing and carry it out because we're just constantly, like a squirrel looking for a nut, just bouncing back and forth all these places, and we accomplished absolutely nothing.
Hey, B, I was going to say, and sometimes I feel like it is good to be focused on the one thing, which is very hard, especially for a visionary person. But what about when that one thing changes? You know what I'm saying? Like it's I'm not a Bible scholar or anything like that, but I know a little something. But it's a story in the Bible about this prophet, and God told him to go to a certain place and I'll provide for you. And he sent him birds, he sent them food and all of that. And he stayed there for some years, but all of a sudden, what happened? It dried up one day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It dried up. So he could have stayed there and starved to death, or he can go to the other place, the other one thing, or the other destination that God had for him. You know what I'm saying? So I think life is about, or business even sometimes is about focusing on the one thing, but still being able to pivot and figure out which direction or which place you're supposed to be in at the right time. Because I think everything is definitely about seasons. And like I said, while we've been successful where we are now, you see now we're pivoting more into, you know, getting information to people instead of necessarily, you know, trying to sell houses or something like that. But it just changes. It fluctuates, man. And you just got to be ready to pivot at any time, because you can get so stuck and focus on the one thing that you might be missing a bigger opportunity.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's big, man.
But yeah, when the one thing switches, God might do a little switcheroo.
How do you recognize when he's telling you to move into that?
When it dries up.
Good answer. Damn good answer.
When it dries up. Like I said, I go back to Tyler Perry's story. He bought a studio, and before he could get in it, he had already outgrew it. You know? Yeah, when it dries up, you can't just stay there and hope that it rains again. You know what I'm saying? It's another location, it's another destination for you. But yeah. I think that's where people get stuck when they get stuck on the one thing. Let me give you a perfect example. Let's say you had somebody who in high school, and I've met people like this, unfortunately. Let's say you got somebody in high school who was this big high school basketball superstar, you know, and then maybe they went to college and played a couple of years, but they didn't go pro. A lot of those guys get stuck. They never make the transition because God has something else for you, but you never made the transition to get there. When that dried up, that means that he has a lake or an ocean somewhere else for you to be fed. But instead of leaving, they stay right there and they idolize that moment, and they'll spend the rest of their lives in a rat race.
Dang, dude. It's like the dad standing on the football field trying to live through their kids.
Hey, if I had one of them things, wah, 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 I rang the horn.
For real, huh? Yeah, dude. That's real. That's real stuff that just to think about. Like,
hey, bro.
Holy cow. Bring some enlightenment.
Huh?
I was just gonna say, I think that's why it's so important just to curate community, to bring awareness to the opportunities that are everywhere around us. Yeah. Right? Because again, we can continue doing what we've always done, but we're going to continue getting what we've always got.
Come on now.
Right? If we go down that path. Mm-hmm. So how do we lean into new opportunities or identify these things when they're in front of us, right? Like how do you identify what you're passionate about? And then how do you convert that knowledge or that skill set into revenue?
I would say the very first thing that comes to top of mind is getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Getting out of your comfort zone. You know, like for example, so man, I started working when I was 13. I started at a car wash. So I started washing cars. I eventually ran my own car wash or my own mobile detailing business. And then I went to school, and then I got another job making a very low wage. And then, so let me tell you this, B. I was working a job. I'm not going to say the place because I don't want to put them on blast. But I was at a job, and I'm working this job. By this time, I'm 3 and 4 years in. Not planning to retire there, but this is where I am. And so this business or this institution started going through some financial struggles. So I remember it like it was yesterday. They called us all to the floor, like it was like a plant. So they called a whole plant to meet in the middle of the floor. And they said, we want to let everybody know there's not going to be any raises and there's not going to be any 401k. It's over. And I was like, are we in a movie? You know, that's something you see on a movie. Like, hey, no 401k, no more raises. The next thing you know, they're going to be shutting down the plant. You know what I'm saying? I have a wife. I have kids. You know what I'm saying? My baby needs some new shoes, B. You know, and I'm like, okay, God. If this door, this is how I'm thinking, bro, because I see it over and over again in my life. I was like, okay, if this door is closing, where is the next door? Where is the opportunity? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do I need to learn a new skill? Do I need to get a new job? What is it? And so my opportunity came in the form of a person. And a person let me know that it was an opportunity somewhere else, almost paying $8 to $9 more than what I was making for doing the same exact job. So I could have been like, man, I've already been here 3-4 years, you know, maybe this is a pass, you know, staying in my comfort zone. But I said, I'm not going to stay in my comfort zone. I went through the process, filled out the application. I did it properly. I let them know. I was like, hey, I got a new opportunity. This amount of time, put my 2 weeks in. I did everything properly, bro. But I could have been scared and stayed in my comfort zone. And that has happened a few more times. That was a long time ago, but that's happened a few more times. You have to be able to see when one door is closing and when the next door is opening, or you'll get stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's big, bro.
Yeah, man. That's what happened before I got into real estate. I was working a job, making the most money I ever made in my life. Going to school at the same time, graduated from school. You know, I'm not going to lie. I was comfortable. I was working hours that I didn't like, but I was comfortable though, you know, making more money than I ever made. And a couple of things happened that I didn't like, you know, and I was like, God, is that you? I see a door closing, you know what I mean? And so at that moment, I started praying, of course, and I just started looking for new opportunities, bro. And like I said, I ended up really digging into real estate, learning a lot of stuff from, you know, your Maxwell, you know, YouTube University is what I like to call it. But I just started learning. And then I made my mind up. I was like, I am going to leave at this day. And I let my job know. I let them know like 3 months in advance. And when I told them, they was like, okay, we'll see. You know, 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, 2 weeks. I left, bro. You know, it's kind of like Abraham, when God said, hey, go out here. I'm gonna give you an inheritance and I'm gonna make a nation out of you. When he went out there, bro, it was the desert. Wasn't nothing out there. You know what I'm saying? But he had a word from God, though. I felt like I had the confirmation from God, bro.
That's all you need.
So yeah, so I left. You know, I did have I definitely had some money saved up because again, I got a family, can't be stupid.
Yep.
But I left, bro. You know what I'm saying? You have to be tapped in. You have to know when one door is closing, another door is going to open. If you stay at that door that's closing, that's what it feels like to be stuck in the rat race. And a bunch of people would rather have security than to go out and be uncomfortable because they're scared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think that's why a lot of people, goes back to your original question. Why don't people read books? Why don't people learn a new skill? You know what I'm saying? It's because they're scared. They're scared to step out into the unknown. They're scared to jump out of the rat race because they don't know what's on the other side. Have you ever heard the story, bro? I think it was a prisoner, and they gave him I think he got locked up for something crazy, but they gave him two options. They said, you can die by firing squad, or we're going to let you go through that door, and whatever's on the other side of that door. What do you think he chose?
Firing squad.
He chose the firing squad. You know
Shit,
what was on the other side of that door?
Freedom.
Freedom. That was going to let him go. That's how a lot of people are, bro. They would rather take the firing squad than to step out into the unknown.
Dang. That's some nuggets right there. Yeah, man. Well, let's talk about how we're pivoting. What's our play? We're, again, with the shifting market, it's not going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
Right. But how do we identify new opportunities? Got to start knocking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knocking the door will be opened. But also with this rapid increase of technology, right? And technology is not slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. It's only going to continue to progress, and our lives are going to be more revolving around new technologies and new integrations, right? And big conviction on my heart for a long time has been, how can we fill these gaps, right? Like, we all got these buckets of opportunity, right? But we always got these gaping holes. Like, we're bringing in new opportunities, but there's too many holes in the bucket, whether it be follow-up process, our tools, our CRMs, our softwares, our sale, whatever the case might be, our marketing. How do we sew these holes in the bucket up, right? And it's something that in many cases we can't always see it. Sometimes we need a different perspective, right? So going back to what you were talking about having a mentor, I don't care what stage of life or business you're in, everyone needs a mentor, right? Everyone. No matter what level you're reaching, the only way that you're going to continue to elevate is by having mentors and coaches in your corner. I mean, look at some of the greatest athletes like Jordan and Kobe. They had like 5 different mentors, like a diet coach, freaking basketball coach, conditioning coach, strength coach, mindset coach, right? The list goes on. But same is very much true inside of our life, and very much better be true if we want to succeed in business. We got to surround ourselves with people who have been places we haven't, or might just even have a different perspective, right? They don't even have to be in our same industry. But sometimes we just got to be pushed outside of ourselves to be able to see a problem from a different angle that's going to give us a new direction or a new solution, right? So that's kind of what started, man, where solving problems in our own business, so like, dude, I've gone through probably 6 different CRMs, in the process. This is exciting, bro. So this is what you're looking at. Market Pro CRM is this is our baby, right? And it started off as us needing to fill a major gap inside of our own business, right? We needed to get all these leads that are coming through. We need to start converting these a little bit better, right? So the CRM, bro, dude, this is like an all-in-one tool that we're ready to launch it, right? So we're onboarding the team this week, going through the different opportunities phase, but it's all in one, right? This should essentially remove the need for your call rail, batch leads, Sherpa, whatever tools you're using. We want to be able to encompass that all inside of the same ecosystem, the same opportunity, so that you can run and conduct your business inside of this one tool, right?
Next level.
And then on the flip side of it, introducing that to the Investor Syndicate ecosystem, where we can take the training curriculum and processes, right? Everything from brand new wholesalers getting started, identifying how to work inside of the hedge fund model, wholesaling portfolios, multifamily, land development and acquisitions, wholesaling land to builders, battle test, like a lot of moving pieces, virtual assistant training academy. But the goal is to take all of the training curriculum and to be able to box it up. So we're not just selling coaching, but we're getting people immersed inside of a business system,
Mm-hmm.
Business system, dude.
I was gonna say people. A lot of times, the only difference between you and somebody who is ultra successful is two things. It's either something you don't know, something you're ignorant about, and your mindset. I talked a lot about that this weekend too, B. Talked about your mindset. The difference between doing $1 million deal and doing $100 million deal. It's just a couple zeros, and your mindset is a lock on your mindset, thinking that you're not worthy to have it. You know what I mean? And we have to make sure that we're doing a really good job of, and the Bible even says this. That's one of the main things. It says you have to renew your mind. You have to renew your mind. I was telling my wife, I've gotten to this level so far, and it's been a blessing. But and I'm being very transparent, in order for me to go to the next level now, I have to change my mindset, and big ups to you, bro, because you really, you push me up. You really do. I really, really appreciate that, because a lot of stuff you'll be like, hey, Jason, do this, or Jason, do that. And I'm like, you're stretching me, but you're letting me know, like, hey, brother, you're supposed to be here, man. And so you have to shift your mindset to be able to take your place. So yeah, it's a big part of it. We have to change our mindset. The worst thing that can happen is the Lord or God takes you to another level, and you don't have the mindset to keep you there, or the character to keep you there, or you haven't learned the skills, because you won't read a book, to keep you there. And you deserve to be there. That's where you're supposed to be. But you have to renew your mind, and it comes with, you have to learn a new skill. That's why we built out this whole mastermind for you guys. You have to learn something new. When it is crashing in one area, and we do a really good job of that, we have transitioned into another area. Okay, we was doing single family homes. That's not working. Let's do multifamily. Okay, that's not working. Let's do apartments. You know what I'm saying? Okay, that's not working. Let's do land. But you have to shift your mindset, and you have to be willing to learn something new.
That's right. We got Jamal Lockhart, the Gorilla CEO, in the audience, man. Jamal is a man that's always steady, man. He's always out there, consistent on social media. Hats off to you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Real. I see the consistency, man. I see the passion. I see you pounding the pavement, bro. And you already know. You already know that's what it takes, man. So you're right. You said the white whale is coming. We're ready for it, bro.
Yes, sir.
It's that season, man. And I know you are too. Yep. We're going to have to get up out of this call, man. I'd like to talk to you about some of the movement with this Market Pro CRM, and see if you'd be interested in helping to spearhead it. It's gonna be special, man. We're excited for it.
That's dope.
Much love to you too, bro. We love you too, man. Telling you guys, opening up your eyes, and to Jason's point, your mindset to new opportunities that are everywhere around you, right? But in many cases, we want to keep the blinders on because we're comfortable.
Yep.
It's easy to stay inside of our comfort zone because it's a safe place, right? But just like a ship is born to sail, it's not meant to stay in the safe harbor. Our minds, our lives are an expression, right? God gave us a gift, and what we do with it, the expression that we bring to the world, the breakthrough, the lives changed, the opportunities that we provide, that's how we give it back, right? But it doesn't happen inside of our comfort zone.
I was gonna say, always be grateful, but never settle.
Yeah.
Always be grateful, but never settle. There's always, until you stop breathing, there's always more.
That's right.
Always.
So I'm trying to figure out, speaking at this RIA tonight, bro, and I got to figure out how we can stream it.
You gonna need a cameraman.
Well, I got a cameraman, but he's gonna be recording it.
Oh, I got you.
Where he can get the clips and he can piece it together and keep the keynote.
Yeah.
I could bring this little Nextgo cam.
Is that what you're using now?
Yeah, just my little like webcam thing. I could hook up the computer and just roll.
That's what I would do.
But I guess
where you speaking at, B?
It's at the Lexington Town Hall. Lexington Town Hall.
What time in case somebody want to follow through?
It's happening at, let's find it. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Where you at? Facebook? It is at, I think, 111 Maiden Lane, Lexington, South Carolina.
Drop some nuggets on them.
Some nouglets, bro. I actually got a special offer we're dropping tonight.
Okay.
Give some free stuff away.
Okay.
All right. We are at Lexington Town Hall, 111 Maiden Lane, Lexington, South Carolina. So anybody in SC, regardless if you're in the upstate, down Chucktown, Midlands area, you guys don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Are you the only speaker, or will it be other speakers, B?
Yeah, I believe Bob's got the stage open for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there'll be a lot of people there. It should be a really good turnout.
Yeah, you got to figure out how to stream it, bro, so I can watch.
I'm gonna do it.
That'll be dope.
I'm gonna probably put it up on StreamYard like this and just whoop. Have somebody operating it. I got the kid coming, so I might have Jay running it, bro.
I feel you.
Now that the kids are getting to like pre-teenage years, bro, my goal is to start to instill principles, right? I was actually convicted, man, about a month ago. As like a leader, visionary, spend all this time in self-development. I used to think that I had to tell people what was like best for them or right, or almost act like the coach, like, hey, you shouldn't do this, or you should probably eat better, or do this in the kitchen, or whatever the case might be, bro. But I was reading this book, man, and it really just changed my perception on how I was approaching it, right? Because I know that people don't need to be told what to do. We don't, right? We shouldn't. Each and every one of us has our own life, our own gifting, and it's not another person's place to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. But the best way that one can inspire action is to lead by example.
Wow, yeah.
And so just, speaking to myself, bro, like even just the kids, I'm like, hey, that's a lot of sugar, or hey, I shouldn't drink the sweet tea, because I believe it. I believe in taking care of yourself, investing in your mind, investing in your body. But they don't need to hear that over and over and over, the nagging, right? It comes off as nagging, and it's not our place to do that, right? So
I don't know nothing about that.
Best thing that we can do, bro. And again, dude, I was convicted of it. I've completely stopped. I try not to do that whatsoever. Best thing that we can do as leaders is to lead by example. And people see that as a beacon of light and a beacon of opportunity. And when the timing is right and their heart condition is right, then they will follow, right? Or they'll take that prompting and they'll use it, right? Even if they just pull a tiny little nugget or a piece of information, and they'll use it to their advantage, right? But it's not our place to tell them how they should be living.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I mentioned this, but so the CEO from Chick-fil-A was there at the conference this weekend, and his session was totally different from everybody else's. He talked about succession. He talked about running a family business and how it looks to pass that off to your children. He talked about how to prepare your children for this passing of the baton. And he dropped some nuggets, but I'm gonna tell you something that really, really got me, bro. he was talking about statistics, and he said most family-owned businesses only go to the second generation. So he said, imagine spending your whole life building a business and then your children just blow it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it goes to the second generation, and then after that, it's like 2% survive after second generation. But I think I'm getting this right. I think they're in their either fourth or fifth generation. And so he's getting ready to step down and pass it off to his son. And so the question was asked, how do you know, because he has, a couple of children. He was like, how do you know when somebody is ready for you to pass the baton to him or pass the business to him? And this is the example that he gave. He said, when you have in the Olympics, they're running and they're passing the baton to each other in the race. And he's like, even if you have the fastest runners, if you drop the baton, you're probably not going to win if you drop the baton. And he was like, it's all about the passing of the baton. It has to be a smooth transition. And this is what he said, B. He said, when you're running and you're handing off the baton, you're not giving it to him. You're letting them pull it out your hand. You don't give it to them. They pull it out your hand. And the example he gave is one of his sons, I think around last year, a couple years ago, when people were struggling with 2020 and COVID and all of that stuff, his son went out on his own and just really, really started doing a lot of things for the community. Nobody prompted him to do it. He just stood up when it was time to stand up. And he was like, right there. That's him pulling the baton out of my hand and saying, I'm ready to run. Ooh. And a lot of times, somebody a business, bro, they can't carry that baton. They have to pull it out of your hand. They got to show you that they're ready.
Yes. Bro.
Bro.
That's my biggest takeaway right there.
I like that.
That's heavy duty, man.
Yeah, man.
I like those principles that dig down deep. They check your heart. Check your heart.
Definitely.
I think that's the thing. Most people, most human beings, because we tap into one of the oldest parts of the mind, the reptilian mind, right? Mm-hmm. It's like the fight or flight, right? So back to old, caveman days where saw a saber-toothed tiger, there was danger. We run the other direction, right? But because of that piece of our mind, and it's in our DNA, it's still a part of us. Most human beings, we stay there, right? We stay safe, we stay comfortable, and we don't take action, right? We don't take the necessary steps needed to make better changes in our life, to learn a new craft, like you said, right? We get comfortable. And because of that, most people will never be able to handle the amount of responsibility that's needed to run a business or an organization. Yeah. And most people probably don't want it. That's probably the easy answer. You got to want it.
And don't get me wrong, nothing's wrong with working a job, and all of that stuff. I fully understand. Yep. So I'm not knocking nobody for working a regular job and stuff, because I did that. If I had to do that again, I would do that. But I'm just saying, maybe God has more.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I know you like being in your comfort zone, but maybe there's an opportunity on the other side of that door. Don't stay there and get hit up by the firing squad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Solid, bro.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, you guys can expect to see us every Tuesday. We're going to start doing some more live videos just to engage more people, challenge more people, right? Bring awareness to our ecosystem, our community, what we're doing. And our goal is just to build an army of culture carriers, right? We want to bring people in the fold that are taking progressive steps towards bettering their life, no matter what that looks like, right? We want people that are progressing, that are on the journey of becoming. Right? We don't want the crabs in the bucket. If that's you, bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah. Just curating a community, right, of people that we know we can raise up, we can empower, we can all seek to create something much better in the future.
Yes, sir.
You got anything you want to close with, Jay?
Let me see. I think we pretty much hit it all, bro. I would just say, if you're one of those people who have been living in your comfort zone for a long time, I challenge you to get up out of your comfort zone, try something new, learn something new, have a new experience. I think they did a study on people who were like in their 90s in the hospice, and they asked them, you know, what's something, if you could go back and you could change, what's one thing that you would go back and change? And most of those people said, I would have took more chances. I would have took more chances. So get out of your comfort zone, take more chances. Straight up.
Mic drop. Love it. Good stuff, guys. We will see you guys next week. Let's finish this week and make it great.